It's showtime. And hello, everybody, and welcome to today's show, broadcast, whatever you want to call it, chat, conversation. Here we are today, live on our page, and we are also over on Twitter. And fingers crossed, we actually should be streaming live into LinkedIn as well. So don't forget, we are on StreamYard. And if you want to post a comment, just allow StreamYard access to your profile so that we have the name to the comment. And I would like to welcome today's guest, Jen Hogan, journalist, author, and mom. How are you? You're so good for coming on, because I heard you this morning on Sarah McInerney and I thought to myself, I'm going to have to find someone else. I thought you were going to be on for the whole thing.
No, I wouldn't let you down. No, I'm delighted. Thanks for having me on.
You're very good. You're very good. Now, the whole thing that I was thinking of, and I know you've been on air quite a lot and you contribute on TV quite a bit as well. So school is a big thing at the moment. But is it a given that they're all actually opening at the end of the month?
I was hoping it was. And then earlier this week, I was hoping, I think like most parents on there, please take them back, please. No. Much as we love them, I think everybody wants the routine back and everybody wants the structure, and everybody's seeing the impact that it's had on their kids as well. You know, there's no point in pretending that it was all sunny days and happy moments. There's been a lot of stress, and 6 months is a huge portion out of a child's life. So
yeah.
I'm really hoping that we're back. One of the things that maybe has me slightly unnerved is I got a text from our secondary school there earlier this week to say that we wouldn't be returning on the day planned. More to follow. We haven't received the more to follow yet. That they needed more time to prepare the schools. And I know, in fairness to the teachers and the schools, the Department of Education were very late in issuing the guidelines, and as a result, the schools had very little time to prepare. But as parents, you're kind of here in the background going, please give me some information. I need something to work with, because it is really hard to prepare your kids and to get them back get their heads around the idea of going back to school and what the new normal might look like when you actually don't know yourself what that's going to look like. So
yeah.
I don't know. I suppose I'm hoping that they'll be back, but I suppose it's the first time I've thought maybe they won't be back on the day that we hoped. A lot of parents have come to me to say they have no news yet. I'd actually say the vast majority of parents who've contacted me said they have no contact, have had no contact from their schools yet, which, considering it's about 2 weeks till most of them go back, that's pretty worrying, you know.
Yeah, and you see, this is my first year finished with the school system.
Right.
My youngest, we're waiting on leaving cert results.
A different stress altogether.
We're at the other end of the scale, but at least I'm not going to be worrying about kind of the start date, or will they be in at 9 or 9:30, or some going in earlier, or some there's all of that, plus the big thing. And as you were saying this morning on the radio, this school uniform thing of having to wash them every evening. Now, you have a little troop.
Yes, I have my own 7-a-side football team, literally. So there is 7 of them now. One is in college graduate, but there'll be 6 uniforms. And the idea of having to wash all them every day, if that is the case, again, I've had no guidance from my school, but I know the local schools around here are actually requesting that the uniforms be freshly washed every day. So I know I've no reason to suspect that my school will do things any differently. That is going to be a huge pressure. It is. I mean, my laundry is already, I have never seen the end of my laundry basket. I don't even only have one laundry basket. I have several laundry baskets, and I've never seen the end of them. It's always just a kind of, firefighting when it comes to clothes washing, when you've that many smallies living under the one roof. Never mind smallies, teens as well. And now the idea they have to be washed every day. And when we go into the winter, and like Irish summer is never guaranteed, but the winter you can be guaranteed lots of rain, lots of cold, getting the things dry, the practicalities, the fact that we'll be working too, we'll have homework, hopefully we'll have some school activities. That's the activities, is the hopefully. I'd love to see the end of homework, but that's a whole different story. But the idea of that there will be hopefully some areas of normality that will have returned, and will be a huge drain obviously on our time again. So actually having the time to even do it is going to get all the uniforms washed and dried. It's going to be another huge pressure. And then I suppose when you look at the crested uniform pieces, which are already a real they're a bugbear for me, they're a bugbear for lots of parents. You're looking at parents maybe having to go to more expense, buy more extra pieces of uniform to try and facilitate the provision of fresh uniforms every day. It's actually a minefield, an absolute
the other side, because actually now I know, as I say, I'm finished with it, and I was listening to this thing about having to wash the uniforms every night. And now, me being me, sat down and thought, okay, well, apart from those physical practicalities, my first thought was me ESB bill. So before you came on, I did a little bit of homework, very rough and ready, and I had a look at the cost of actually doing the extra washing and the impact it would have on your ESB bill. Now, anything that I had a look at online was based on a 650 watt washing machine. Now, I don't know anybody that goes into one of the stores and says, you know, it has to be, you know, 650 watt because that's the cheapest wattage that there is. Because the criteria are, for me anyway, and they were, because I had 4, was, is that drum big enough to get one full load in? Do you know what I mean? At a time. And will it actually do a really good 1200 spin, or is it 1000 spin? So they were the criteria for selecting the washing machine. But according to the chart that I read online, a 650 watt washing machine is going to cost you approximately an extra €10 on your bill every 2 months. So I said, right, okay. So I went out and I had a look at my washing machine, which wattage-wise is way above that, and on my bill would actually cost the guts of €30 every couple of months. Now, you put that in someone, you know, when you're looking at a family that have 2 or 3 kids, now that's only the washing machine, and then they're going to be saying, but I have to get them dry, and they have to be ready. So there's another €50 or so, or 60 gone onto the bill every 2 months just to accommodate the extra washing of the uniforms. Leave out the bed sheets and the towels and the thing. That's,
and even the weird years you think about it, because like uniforms aren't really made for that level. Have you lost me? Okay.
Nah, your mic is probably at the bottom of your phone. There you go.
Am I back?
Yes, you're back, Pet. Oh, I can't believe it. We have lost Jen there. But if Jen can hear me, hopefully she'll get to click back into the link. So Jane is saying, I was told yesterday by a parent that she'd been advised to steam iron uniforms every night. Yeah, actually, and you know, that's a really good, great, Jen, she's back.
Did you know, I think somebody tried to ring me while we were on, and I think it knocked my mic off. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're in your car office, of course.
I'm in the car studio. The kids are inside. The only way we don't have mini streakers going across the street is this screen. Anyway, I can guarantee it. So I'm in my car studio again.
But Jane actually brought up, one of the comments there from Jane was, you know, the steam iron. So if you steam, I mean, that would be the same, I'm sure. I'm just thinking it, because when you think of boutiques, they use those steam things for clothes to freshen them up and clean them. So I wonder, would that be an option? Maybe that's another idea that somebody could use. And like Jane is in, she supplies dancewear and that, so she knows all about these things with clothes. What would you think, even yourself, thinking of your own troop?
Yeah. God, I don't know. I mean, I have my bog standard iron that has a steam function on it. I'm not sure that'd do the trick. I don't know. I don't know how I'm practically going to get uniforms and tracksuits washed every night. I don't know how that's going to work in practice. Sorry, excuse me. I don't know how realistic it is. I will do whatever is expected of me. I'll probably lose my mind in the process if I am expected to wash them every night. I would, what you were saying there about the cost washing, there's also the wear and tear on the uniforms. So that's going to be huge. If using a bog standard iron and the steam function on that is enough, well, that's brilliant. That would be a huge bonus if we could do that. Somebody else said actually even hanging the uniform, alternating the uniforms, and if there was anything on them, bugs would be dead in 24 hours. I suppose that's where we need the experts, the virologist experts, kind of to give us the advice here and let us know what's to happen. And that's been funny because I heard, I was listening to virologist earlier on. She was on Sarah McInerney after me, and there seems to be so much unclear advice about it. That's sort of unclear information about it, rather. They're not actually sure. I suppose it's such a new disease. They know so little still. While we know so much in comparison to where we were a few months ago, we still know so little about other aspects of it. So I don't know that it's any clearer whether or not we should be doing it. It sounds like it's maybe not necessary, but Oh, I don't know. I'll be really interested to see when our own guidelines come in and our own guidance comes in, because we are a crested uniform, and I mean everything's crested, even the polo shirts that the kids wear are crested. There is nothing, they're only short of insisting on crested jocks and socks. But besides that, like the whole idea of having to wash all that now every single day, I'm like, kids are mucky anyway. You're sponging bits
they come
down
out
here
and they're whip off the jumper, and it's throw the bag, and the shirt is this way and that way. And, as even, yes, the virologist this morning said, but sure, her child could stand in the center of a room and just, the dirt is attracted to them.
Yeah, they're magnets. They're magnets for it. So that is, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how practical it is. I do remember earlier in the year, one of the school principals association, I understand, were the people who actually proposed this idea, or put it forward when the guidelines are being considered. They're not in the Department of Education recommendations, from what I understand, but obviously it's up to individual schools to apply the recommendations as they see fit. And so far, from the parents I've spoken to, the majority of the parents who have received details from their schools, it's going to be an expectation. So we're going to have to we may have to get our heads around it.
Well, I think all smallies going into school should just, if they're wearing their little paint scrub, the little painting cape.
Yeah.
That's it. That will protect them. But that's just me. I'm not in the school thing anymore.
Well, even if we move to the tracksuits, I suppose it would be a little bit easier. They're just a little bit more, maybe a little bit more wash friendly and dry friendly. Well, certainly our own ones are. I'm thinking of my own. Some people are heavier ones. But I hope there's a degree of practicality applied as well, because, we have to be realistic about what can be achieved too. And also, if it's kind of unrealistic targets, how many parents will actually follow through? It's one thing telling people they have to do things. There's no way of proving it. And short of going around and sniffing, can I smell fabric softener? There's no way actually proving it. So, what? I hope I'm not putting ideas in people's heads now. That's how we do it now. But,
the other thing is, actually, just even leaving the uniforms aside, you have for those of you that don't know, Jen writes her column in the Irish Times. And if you read through it, she has some fascinating conversations with her kids. And even dogs have masks. Yes, dogs are wearing masks.
Even dogs have masks. And it made me laugh, but it made me a little sad as well when they said that, because this conversation was happening in the back of the car, and the 7-year-old and 4-year-old, they were looking out the window and they saw these two big greyhounds walking along with their owners, and the greyhounds were muzzled. And the two were deep in thought, looking out the window. And then the second youngest perks up and he says, they're wearing them because of COVID-19. Even gave it its proper term. It wasn't Corona, it was COVID-19. He was very, very particular and exact. And the youngest lad turns around and says, "Oh yeah, I know." And that was just it. That our dogs have to wear masks, because that's the times we live in now. And I think the kids, they have been amazing throughout this. I mean, the amount of stuff they've had to adapt to, the amount of things, they've really just been told what to do so much. The rug was pulled from under them when the schools closed. Their activities were gone. They didn't have access to their friends. In our case, didn't have access to their family, because neither of our families live in the same county as us. So they didn't see grandparents or cousins or aunts and uncles for a long time. It has been really, really tough on them. And I suppose my youngest child in particular is definitely feeling it at the moment. Now, while he, turns to his older brother, who's 7, saying to him, "Yeah, I know, I realise this, I'm up to speed on the whole mask thing." It is sad that when he sees the yellow mask or the yellow signs of coronavirus and the hand sanitizing stations, all these different things, he's now he can't read yet because he hasn't started school, and he'll point at the sign and say, "What does that say? And what does that say?" And he'll become quite anxious about things, even though he's come from a home where we're cautious, but we're not anxious, if you get me. And we're not we're cautious about following the rules and stuff, but there isn't huge anxiety. I don't think there is, because we've had 2 essential workers at home, so all through lockdown, life continued to a degree, I suppose, as normal, except that they were at home. Dad was still going out to work every single day. My daughter, who is a student, when college closed down, she went to she had a part-time job in the supermarket that became full-time. Like lots of students, they were propping up the supermarkets at a time that was really, really scary, I suppose, because people knew nothing about it. They were stockpiling on toilet paper. That's how scared people were. But our kids, they were still, like my daughter, so their sister and their dad was still going out every day. I was a essential worker too, but I was working from home. But as they were going out, so they kept that degree of normality, and yet still, in spite of the lack of what I would say lack of anxiety at home, my youngest lad has become very anxious now about things. He's very worried. He's quite obsessive about washing his hands. If you come into our house, he will say, "Have you washed your hands?" The poor woman in the local shop now, she waltzed by the hand sanitizer and he announced it to all and sundry, like, "Oh my God, did you see that?" So I mean, I have a child for rent there if anyone needs somebody to police their premises, and make sure the protocol is followed. My 4-year-old is your own
out of the mouth of babes. Isn't that it? It just
hay fevers of it, but so he's quite anxious, and that is hard as his mum to watch that and not be able to take all those worries away. And I think that's what I suppose I'm finding out, that we don't have the details from school, because I need to prepare him for back to school and what the new normal is going to look like. And we don't have a lot of the information yet from our schools. And I suppose I'm feeding him the bits. I'm doing the bits with him that I can. I'm talking to him and sharing him the parts I can.
And that's the thing, actually, because that was another thing I was thinking of, because of the age span on your children. It's completely different conversations that you have with this side. And you say the older ones now, okay, those in college, fine, they're adults, they're thinking things themselves. But as you come down through the years, there is a different understanding of it. So how do you manage that different conversation? Because it's different language.
It is. It's very different language. And I suppose I've two now in secondary who are going to have to wear masks. So that's even, do you know what? The teens have been amazing through all this.
Yeah.
It's not going to be any news to them that they have to wear masks. They're wearing them into shops. Well, back when we were battling trying to get Ireland to wear masks and get people to step up to the plate and wear masks, the teens were leading the way. I mean, Ireland's teens have been brilliant too, for all the hard time they get. Our young people have been incredible, and so this isn't new to them that they would have to wear masks going in shops, but now they're going to have to do it in school. I have one of my sons has asthma, and he wears a mask, no bother to him, and this is going to be a common thing, and in Ireland we've such a high rate of asthma. I would like to be able to offer him the reassurance going, well, actually you'll have breathing breaks, and it sounds like a mad concept, but just the idea, they're uncomfortable to wear. None of us like wearing them. And it is a kind of a relief to get them off. I don't know how that's going to work. We don't have the details yet. And I'd love to be able to have that conversation just to reassure him, look, don't worry, you'll be able to take it off every now and then. And he doesn't even object to wearing it. He does. That's what he does. He's doing what he's supposed to do. But I feel if he's going to have to wear that for a long day, it may just bother him a little bit. So I'm hoping there'll be things like that. But having the conversations with the older guys, I suppose I'm very open and honest with them and telling them, I'm telling you as much as I know. This is what we're going to have to do. This is the reason. They understand it's because they're older and the risks are a little bit more. But I am still also conscious that they are teenagers and they are still actually children. Even though they're older children, they are still children, and you cannot put an old head on young shoulders. They still have their worries, they still have their vulnerabilities, they still are concerned about.
And that's what has happened. And that's what has happened in that sense, because as I said, my youngest now, we're waiting on Leaving Cert results, and he was 18 St. Patrick's weekend, the weekend of lockdown. That was it.
I like that. It's a milestone.
Official. Yes, stepping out into, I'm going to the pub with my friends.
And I can do it legally.
And then I had another boy, 21 in July. So I was kind of going, lads. I really, really felt sorry for them. And the lack of companionship and that peer companionship that they lack, as you were saying, I mean, that is, and even regardless of age, that gap, that is a huge gap. And whatever about us thinking, what if, we can kind of come to some logical conclusion and think of a plan B and a plan C just in case. But when you're younger and maybe you're smallies and then coming into the teens, their what ifs are just absolutely, they're much, much bigger to them.
And I think there's been very little slack cut to maybe our older children too, because it's like.
You're gone again. Sorry,
I've gone again. That's somebody's trying
there you go.
Hang on, I will get my mic back.
We're almost finished out. You've been absolutely brilliant today. So. And Jen is gone again. I have to say, Jen has been fantastic to come on today, taking time out from what I know is an extremely, extremely busy schedule. So I'm hoping now that I see we have some comments here, and
sorry.
Brilliant.
Ringing again. Apologies. And it seems to be when somebody comes through on the phone, they're knocking me off. Sorry, it's my first time using StreamYard. I'm not watching me.
But just on finishing up there, what you were saying there about, about the credit being given to the children and that.
Yeah, I mean, I think, with our teens, I suppose in particular, there has been very little slack cut to them. And I think sometimes there is that whole idea that they are older, and I know there are worries obviously about the transmission rates with older children and putting them up there in the same category as adults, and I do understand that, but I do think that you can't just deal with a situation and a kind of singular focus. You do have to bear in mind, that these are young people, young vulnerable people. Peer support is huge to them, absolutely huge. I mean, we've all felt the impact of the isolation that lockdown brought and not being able to see friends and family. That has been really hard. But it was even harder on our young people and our young adults and on our teens. And I don't think there's been enough slack maybe cut to them. And I don't think there's been enough praise heaped on them. It's just, oh, what about you? Big deal. You had to miss your holidays. You missed your Debs. You missed your 18th. You missed...
Oh, don't go there.
It is a big deal. It is a very big deal.
It is
extremely. Milestones. And we should say, do you know what? Fair play to you. Yes, I'm sorry you missed it. I'm sorry that you didn't get to have that occasion. You did your bit for the country, for the good of the country, by missing out. I'm sorry that happened. But instead,
and you know what the hardest thing is, and you probably feel it yourself, that even though the whole thing wasn't my fault as a parent, you really, really just want to make it up to them.
Absolutely. I didn't have milestone birthdays, but I did have 4 birthdays over lockdown. 4 of the kids had birthdays over lockdown, and I felt sorry because my eldest turned 18 during her leaving cert last year, and I said next year, which was 19 over the summer, and I said next year we'll make it up to you. Well, there you go. The leaving cert was a walk in the park in comparison.
So before we finish up, Jen, because you have a book written. And we have the link there for anybody. And it is The Real Mum's Guide to Surviving Parenthood. And how long ago did you write that?
I wrote that book actually in 2017. So it's 3 years old actually now. We'll probably do with an update. Thank you for the reminder.
I was going to say was, now how would you write that book? Going through.
Yes,
do you know what
absolutely.
I mean?
So, now, I suppose, the difference is I've got to, at the time I wrote it, my daughter was 15, I think, 16, coming up in 16. Now, obviously, she's 19. Yes, the parenting an adult child or getting used to having an adult child, that's a whole other chapter in itself, it's a whole other book. It's a whole other book, never mind. So it's amazing how you're constantly learning through parenthood. There's so much more I would add to the book now. Yes, when it was published at the time, it was published by Orphan Press, I remember going, how am I going to fit in? I wanted to do this thing from pregnancy up to the teenage years. How am I going to fit in all the details? And now here we go, 3 years later, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I could write another one. There's so much more, because it is that constant learning experience, constant evolving role. Yeah, they don't call it a roller coaster for nothing.
No, absolutely. So what I would suggest is, go on to Amazon, have a look at that book. It is so easily laid out. There's loads in it because I was having a flick through it. And also do follow Jen on Instagram. And her Instagram handle is Mamatude. And between Mama and Tude, there you go, _. So it's Mama_Tude, and you will be able to follow Jen and all her posts. Read her articles in the Irish Times. She has started a new series on parenting in the modern age. It's the modern age you call it, isn't it?
Parenting in My Shoes. That's the
Parenting in My Shoes. Sorry, that's right. Because
it's speaking to lots of different people about their parenting experiences. So it's been a real privilege to get to tell their stories. It's great.
Absolutely. And because there's loads in it, because you even cover postnatal depression, which been there myself too, so know all about it. And Jen, you have been an absolute lady to come on today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Barbara. Great chatting to you.
And you too. You're very welcome. And cheerio, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining us. And we hope you got something out of that. If even your ESB bill, go and calculate it and see what it's going to cost you. Cheerio till next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.